Welcome to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. For the next hour, you'll hear proven methods for how to live the multiple income streams dream. Ryan is passionate about helping others discover their gifts and start their own business. He's published 5 books, and his courses and group coaching programs have changed the lives of thousands of students all over the world. Ryan's books include Private Label, The Easy Way, Finding Your Grace Place, and his latest, Streams of Income. And now, here's your host, Ryan Rieger.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Streams of Income radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger, and boy, do I have an awesome one for you. The guest is named Tim Branyan. He's now my good friend. I'm going to say that, Tim. I loved this interview. He was just dropping knowledge bombs everywhere. It was just an awesome interview with him. We talked about things like getting over, like, what do you do when you're restless and have that discontent? I would also call it divine discontent. I believe sometimes the Lord just will just nudge us and cause us to just kind of be a little uncomfortable in our certain circumstances to get us to move on to what we're really called to do. So we unpacked that. He talked about how to fail enthusiastically. So if you feel like you've been failing, that is a good thing. In business, you've got to fail quickly. Get over it quickly. You're going to learn. Every single failure, quote failure, not really failures in my opinion. It's not a failure unless it's final. It's a learning opportunity. So we talked about that. He said fruit is on the other side of fear. He's a veteran, and so he just brings a lot of that to his business. He is the owner, founder of an app called True Fans, which is like Patreon. So we talked a little bit about that, but man, we just dug deep into just some really cool stuff. So if you're struggling right now, especially if you are a guy and you have a job that you're just not happy, or you're in a situation that you know there's more for you, you're going to love this episode. It's going to be a kick on the pants for you. It'll be very encouraging, hopefully. But I loved it. I was taking all kinds of notes when I was chatting with Tim today. You're going to love it. Here it is, my interview with Tim. Tim, welcome to Streams of Income, man. Appreciate it.
Ryan, I'm pumped to be here, man. It's nice to talk to you again. We connected first a little while back. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, of course. It's my pleasure. And guys, we had an awesome conversation. We found out that he is just from up the road in Kokomo, Indiana, from where I used to grow, where I lived. And you went to Kokomo Christian School for a year, right? 1 year?
I did. That's where we really found our connection.
That's right. Because I went to Liberty Christian School in Anderson. I graduated there in, I won't tell everybody when. No, I don't care. 94 is when I graduated. So a lot earlier than I'm a lot older than Tim. But I used to play basketball at Kokomo Christian School, and they had this, just sorry for anybody that may be listening to Kokomo Christian, this ugly yellow carpeted gym. That you'd bounce the ball and it would just go weird ways. And so it's like, I hated playing there.
It was our strategy. We used it to our advantage, this cheese yellow science project of a carpet.
And if you go there, is it still cheese yellow?
I think so. I haven't been there in a long time. I really do feel compelled to like drive by, just pop in and have a peek.
If you do, take a picture.
Smell. It had a distinct like smell too after being washed. I think so long. So many games were played. It's historical.
It is.
We need to get a piece of it if they decide to ever throw it out.
A piece of the carpet and I hang it on my wall. Yeah. No, I don't think so. But it's an honor to have you here. I told you before, I love hearing people's stories. Let's just dig into your story. So tell me about who you are, how you got started, down I know you're a veteran, so thank you for your service. Also, just tell me about your journey.
Yeah. So it started for me in the Midwest. I grew up here in Kokomo, Indiana, not the island, the cornfields. And my options were pretty small. I was looking around. I wasn't going anywhere really fast. That was a reflection of people I was hanging around with. My mind at that point was really focused on chasing chicks, chasing the party scene. And I wasn't really focused on like long-term. Mm-hmm. Long story short, I jumped at the chance to join the United States military, very primitive. I did some reconnaissance around and I saw the people coming back from this journey seemed to have lost weight. They seem to have money in their pockets. They seem to carry themselves differently. They've got a truck. So, that was interesting and compelling. And I thought, love it or hate it, I'm going to do this for 4 years. I started out really, it was about the incentives and the benefits. It wasn't about, I wish it was, I wanted to go serve my country and I was going to be, this heroic person. But the truth was, I was looking out for, I was selfishly looking out for like the things that could benefit me.
Sure.
When I joined, it changed my life. It brought me around some of my best friends, even to this day. It gave me purpose, put wins in my sails, and really just kind of started to sharpen characteristics in me that I still have now. And I hope to pass around to not only my kids, but my friends, and things like integrity, service before self mentalities, excellence in the things that I do. Not just for people, but to glorify God too. Like that's another real reason why it's my responsibility to give and create. Anyway, that moved into, I went to school, got super burnt out, felt like cattle. It didn't take me long to realize I was restless and discontent. And I started to figure out, okay, how can I adapt? Audited my life, jumped into overseas contracting, doing similar work to what I did in the military, but in support of the DoD as a civilian. About 3 years after that, I was making a ton of money, but I was miserable. I would look at quotes about time and it would just rock me to the core. And I became obsessed with like, okay, what is wealth to me? What is freedom? How can I attain even half of this money that I'm making now, but own my life, own my time?
Yes.
And, so it was there. I had this, I really started to define how I could do that. And I went through everything in the book, from the tater tot stand to,
really,
seriously, like
how long did you have a tater tot stand?
No. I was thinking all these things, action planning. Okay, what can I do? One of the things was a hot dog stand. I thought tater tots, and I went off the deep end, exploring all the, how much it would cost, what I would need, what's the startup fee, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
What are the licensing? And I did that with everything, like from a hookah lounge to a franchise to you name it. None of them made as much sense to me as what an app did or technology. So with a lot of enthusiasm and no formal education or experience, I said, I can do this. And I've failed enthusiastically for the last 9.5 years now.
Wow.
I've had some big wins. We've produced millions of dollars with platforms. We've created millions of users across the planet, and it's been a lot of fun. And I'm still failing and learning and adapting and solving puzzles, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. That's where I'm at now. I live back home. I chose to move back here. I've got a wife, 2 beautiful kids. All of our families within a 15-30 minute drive. The cost of living here is fantastic. I've got a big office, and I feel like I'm a big frog in a small pond, and I like it. I'm really happy to be here and just excited about the future, man.
That's awesome. That's so cool. You said a lot of stuff that we could go unpack. Wow. Okay. I definitely will get into what you're doing with True Fans, and I want you to explain that. But tell me, you said something that just stood out to me: restless and discontent. I feel like a lot of people are there, and I feel like also there's a godly discontent, like a godly I had this conversation with somebody before, John Stange. It was one of the episodes, I believe. I'll find that episode for you guys listening and figure out which one it is and post it. But I feel like sometimes it's God to like help, like inside, like you're made for more than this. That this is not what you were, that maybe this is okay for now, but there's something more for you. So tell me about just that feeling, and how you instead of like pushing that down, and you decided to do something about that.
Yeah, no, so I've been in that feeling multiple times throughout my life, and I'm looking at it now after going through it at least a few times that I can remember, that there's always prosperity once you answer the calling, and once you're able to jump the obstacle. At least that's been the case in my life. There's fruit on the other side of fear. And so for me, I've always looked at there's 2 sides. You're either going to be paralyzed and not take action and listen to, your calling and do the scary thing, or you're going to regret it later. So the reality is, like a lot of people say, middle age is 50. that's not true. If you look at the national average, like of when people are, croaking and transitioning, like that's like 70 or 72.
Yeah.
So the reality is it's like 35 is a better middle age.
Mm-hmm.
And as morbid as that is to say, so I look at that and it's like, okay, I would rather take action and make a move and like the scary move, like that's less scary to me than looking back at my life and realizing or regretting having not done something,
Yes.
And so that's really that's been the way I think that I've been able to transition through things. And then the other thing too, man, I'm just not afraid to fail. I realize that there's progress in the resistance.
Yes.
It's necessary.
Yeah.
There's pain at first, but if you look at the gym, you go to the gym, it's like you go for failure. That's how you're gonna build your muscle. That's how you're gonna develop. And me being a Christian dude, it's like, why would I be afraid if I'm made from the same substance that binds galaxies? If the creator of the universe is my Father, why in the world? Again, and this is just me kind of spitting my truth is in the reality, I think, is it's the devil. It's fear. Fear is the negative component. If I am truly connected to the source of all life, I'm good.
You are good. Oh, that's so
and
good.
So is everybody else.
Yes.
So it's like,
man, you're dropping some truth bombs here. Keep going.
You're good, and you're in good grace, and you're connected to source. And when that's the truth, and you believe that, and you know that, you're going to do so many great things.
Yeah.
And the reality of that's how we met, is because I'm not afraid to get on the phone, get on a video call, to put out these things that I'm doing.
Right.
And believe that things are going to work out and things are going to align. And I just want to be used as a tool, used as a vessel. And it's my responsibility. And I really do mean that. So I'm using my gifts and my ability to set up systems and processes and websites and tech, because I know there's going to be an influx of people that I'm going to be able to help and serve. It's my responsibility. I'm praying for it.
Yes.
So I'm setting up all these different things and in preparation for how I'm going to be a tool.
Yeah, you're stepping out in faith because you don't know when those people are going to come.
I don't need to know the how fully.
Yeah.
But I just need to be prepared for and that's a scary thing, man. I've been in situations where, it's scary. It's one of the scariest things. You decide to be a soldier in God's army.
Yes.
A little different than bombs and bullets.
Yeah. Right.
So,
man, I could just hear you. I love you. This is so good. Made me think of something in Ephesians chapter 1. And I often, when I'm doing solo episodes, I just talk about scripture, but not usually in an interview, but it just made something come to mind.
I want to hear
in the Passion Translation. I've been really loving this Passion Translation, but it says, I pray that you will, so this, it's Paul's prayer about having a spirit of wisdom and revelation, the eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that scripture. But a little farther down in verse 19, I pray that you will continually experience the immeasurable greatness of God's power made available to you through faith. Then your lives will be an advertisement of this immense power as it works through you. This is the mighty power that was released when God raised Christ from the dead and exalted him to the place of highest honor and supreme authority. So that same
chills,
raising from the dead power, it lives in us. And that scripture came to mind as you were speaking, because you're right. We don't have to be afraid because, we know who we are.
No, the laws are in place. The laws are in place. The rules are in place. They've been designed and created. And a lot of people get it confused. They call that the universe. And I listen to that, right? That, like the universe provides, the universe, think and grow rich, believe it. And it's like, for me, I had to understand that at a quantum physics level, or at least explore it. I can understand that. But then you get to a place where it's like, okay, you're either going to call it the universe and stop there, and I think you're shortcoming.
Sure.
That, or you can realize that we are infants, and the Father, the creator of the universe, is the thing that is what's listening and answering.
Yes.
That is the universe. So that's just where I take it. And I'm on this exploration still. That's me. I have to seek and find, and I wish I was more like my wife, where she doesn't need to know and she doesn't have to know. She's at this really calm place, and we don't understand each other in this, but me, it's like I'm on this pursuit to try to unpack all the information to grow in my connectivity with that's just me. So
I feel like you could preach. You could go around and just share your story. I think this would be so good. So to speak to that, I want to go back to this real quick. The restless and discontentment. For somebody who, so think about it right now for you. You have two kids?
Yes.
And you're married. If you had that same restlessness and discontentment, and you knew you were supposed to step out, because there's a lot of people in this boat that are closer to my age, older than you, that have a family, who have a job. They don't really like it. They may actually hate it, but it's providing and paying the bills. And they feel like there's something else, but they're scared to step out because it's like, well, this is paying the bills. This is comfortable. It's uncomfortable because I hate going to work every day, but it's comfortable in that it's paying the bills and it's providing for my family. I wish I could just speak life into that, give that dude some encouragement who's 10 years older than you, maybe the same age as you, that has the responsibilities, that feel like, man, I could step out if I was 20 and didn't have a family, but now that I'm 35 or 40 or 45 or 50 and I have a family to provide for, I feel like I need to do the quote responsible thing and stay at this job I hate.
Totally. No, I get it. There's logistics and everybody has their own personal economy, and that matters. And I think it's smart to think about that. And you never want to cut the umbilical cord and, of what's providing the income to your ecosystem. And so let's say that somebody's commuting right now. I think there's a ton of prosperity that can be had in being grateful. If your cup is so full of gratitude, and the realization that right now you can see out your car window, you've got vision, and you've got dexterity in your hands to grip the steering wheel. I could stop there. Like, those are two amazing things that are a gift. They're a gift. Yeah. And then the ability to hear and interpret sound and vibration into logical understanding. Yeah. Have discernment. Now here's a step further. Having the ability to dislike your job is something that's very prosperous. You have the ability to comprehend the things that you dislike. What a treat. Yeah. Because then you can see the other side of that, the things that you do like, and you do have free will, and you do have the ability to start to check the different boxes, the things that are important to you. And you can start praying about those things. And what a gift. Yes. So I think that the mindset shift that needs to happen is, number one, you have an abundant amount of things already working for you. Yeah. And to have a woe is me mindset on even the woes is the wrong way. So when things go bad, thank God for things. That's powerful. If you can really do it. Way easier to say, harder to implement. There's a mind switch there. So an example, a story, my daughter was in the kitchen. My daughter's 1.5 years. She's just ornery and everything, and I love her for it. She can do nothing wrong in my eyes. Right. But she had this bowl of Cheerios and she spilled them on the ground, and they went everywhere. And my first instinct was just like, or my first reaction was just like, gosh, it was the end of the day. I'm tired. Yeah. There's Cheerios everywhere. And as I get into the motions of picking them up, and I don't know where this came from, God, I have this like intuitional or just, this kind of spark thought. It's like, thank goodness, I can bend down. I have the ability to bend down. I have the ability to see these Cheerios. I'm putting them in the back into this little bowl. Yeah. And I didn't lose my cool. And I was like, I'm thankful for this thought that I just had, that I can grab these things. And there's people that can't, and
especially you probably know people that served with you that are came home without a leg or without an arm, or just going through some crazy PTSD or something. Yeah.
Yeah. They've been dealt a different card and different things to be grateful for and unpack themselves. So here I am, picking up this huge mess and thankful for it. And it was that moment that it clicked for me that like, I can do this in everything.
Yeah.
I just have to stop and think differently. And that thought process has created prosperity for me.
Yes.
And different clarity for me. But all in all, like if you have that, that's one thing for somebody that's working a job. The next thing is mind your freedom, mind your faith and your freedom, I think. So like as you're working your thing, you should be planning your escape and planning your purpose. So if you know that you're not in alignment, that's always going to tug at you. It's not going to go away. So the best thing that you could do is audit and get with a coach or get with a mentor. Get with somebody that's where you want to go or where you see yourself. It's probably the biggest hack. You have to get new information. You can't expect to have a different result if you're not willing to do different things. That should be a truth that everybody could resonate with. And then just you have to have faith and belief in your own abilities to get things done and solve problems and be of value. A lot of people over a span of time have forgotten that they're a champion. They've let themselves like kind of bury themselves in their own gloom and doom, and that's not of faith, I don't believe. So you have to realize you're a champion. That's the other thing too. Get out of your own way. And so hopefully those things and that, I only have so much time, right? But those are a couple of things I hope add value and change somebody's way of thought, at least.
Man, you were just telling me right before we hit record that, you have systems and processes in place in your business now that you have the extra time. You would be an awesome coach if you ever wanted to do that. Like I could see people like lining up to have one-on-one conversations with you and have coaching packages. You don't even need to know, you just would, be able to speak, speak what you just said. That would encourage people would pay for that, to hear you say that about them. And
it's so true. Good. And I deeply believe it. And some people are at different levels of having their own belief and turning on the little fire inside of them. But the other thing, I'm totally down to help. I don't have any packages set up. I have nothing to sell outside of like services. Like I'm an open book. If people want help, I hope to keep generating content like this that's of value.
Well, you should just from outsider perspective, like if you really have any desire to do that, just start having conversations with people like that. And if you're like it lights you up inside, then and start heading down that direction. You do it, even just do some free sessions with people that you feel like you can help. And if it's like, oh, this is not me, then don't do it anymore. And there's no pressure there, especially if there's no money being exchanged. You could just have some conversations with some guys and bless them.
I love it, man. And I hope to, so like outside of like the mindset stuff and helping people hurdle the fear and the nonsense and the baggage, like I love that, but geeking out on like technical systems and processes that convert and sell and push a really good offer out to the world. Like I love that stuff. I'm like a bootstrapper to my core. So like I love creating systems that work for a very, very low cost. And man, so I'd consider my main focus right now is just to try to give away as much as humanly possible. All this stuff that I know, throw it out there. And then the people that are action takers will just do it. And then hopefully they'll reach out and say, hey dude, I did this thing that you were telling me about. And this is what I was able to do. Like that to me is a huge, I'll celebrate together.
That is awesome, man. You've said so much stuff in just a short amount of time, and we're definitely going to get to True Fans. But you said you failed enthusiastically over the last 9 years. So talk about like you said, you're not afraid of failure. You said there's fruit on the other side of fear. How do you see quote failure?
Right, it's necessary to learn.
If
I was to pick up a skateboard today, and I really wanted a skateboard, there's no way I can avoid falling when I'm doing my kick flips. There's no ways I can avoid the fear of dropping in and the skin knees and the bruises and the pain of it. Definitely not something I'm going to pick up at 33 now, but same thing's true with everything, whether it's a violin, whether it's business, whether you got out of shape and got fat like I did a year ago. You want to go to the gym, there's going to be, you're probably going to be bad at it to start. So expecting that and realizing it's a necessity, you start to pursue failure differently and you have a different relationship with it. We're kind of groomed in school to, look at failure as this negative thing. You get a bad grade and that sucks. And it's really, it's negative. but in business and in life, it's like, if you're not failing, you can't grow, you can't adapt. So that's my relationship with it. That's my advice on it too, is seek it, be enthusiastic when it happens, but learn with the intent to implement.
Yes.
Learn with the intent to share too. If you're running a business, you got to teach others how to succeed. And if you're not leading the way, how could you show others the way, that they come into your organization? So you got to be the front man.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I don't know about the app business. I know really nothing about it. I've had some friends that have created software, and they always say it takes longer than they expected and cost a whole lot more than they expected it to cost. But in what we typically teach with selling physical products online or creating a business from your passion, your skill, becoming a coach, that's something that you can fail at pretty quickly, and you can try, like for example, somebody's physical product that they go out and they go to Walmart and buy a couple of things and they try to sell it and they don't sell for some reason. Well, that may have cost them $10. So in today's world, it's not expensive to fail on in most internet businesses. Now, your app business is probably a different thing. Most people listening to me aren't going to be out creating apps. And so just folks know that, just go out and fail quickly, find out what doesn't work. You're getting closer and closer to the thing that does. Try a bunch of stuff. I love how you did the research on the hot dog cart, the tater tot business. You just did a bunch of research and nope, that's not it. And then found the thing that resonated with you. Yep.
Yeah. And I have just so everybody knows, I have no formal education when it comes to IT or technology or engineering apps and things like that. I would never claim that I am a developer. I know a lot. I can make decisions, and I understand the logistics or back-end infrastructure to make smart choices. But my developers are amazing. I stand on the shoulders of those guys and I get out of their way. I mainly talk to stakeholders and clients and help be the liaison between their creative ideas, drawing them into a workable prototype that we can measure and get a quote from. And then, I bring my, one of my main guys, his name's Vinny, he's my CTO. He helps facilitate the action items for the engineers. I would stress those guys out. If you put me in a situation to work with the actual builders, and they're amazing. They're amazing. And it's fun to be growing that team. And so, a lot of people think apps and, ooh, scary, I can't do it. The truth is you can. There just has to be a system. And I would recommend, if somebody is trying to build an app, to start with your idea, extract that into a very cost-effective, workable prototype, which is your blueprint. You can use a platform like Figma or a platform like Adobe XD to draw your app. And then that becomes the thing that you give to a developer, development shop. And then they should be able to give you a measurable, okay, this is what we would build it in. Here's how much time it'll take. Here's it's just like building a barn or a house or something. And then, the project kicks off, but you don't have to have, you just have to find a really good team. So that's the hard part. That's where I failed for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. I got lucky in a way where I found a really fantastic team, but it took failing enthusiastic. So
did they work for other people too, or just you?
Yeah, they work for other people. Typically I'm the one that meets the folks first. We do obviously have leads that come in and such, and we specialize really with startups, just because I feel like those are my people.
So you have a whole other side of your business to where if I wanted to build an app completely separate, if I wanted to do an app, I could go to you and your team and they could build something for me.
Yeah. No,
okay, cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome. I knew you had the True Fans business and want to get into that again, but
talk to.
Yeah.
But you would talk with me and we would develop a strategy really. See if it makes sense.
That's awesome. Yep. Maybe you told me that on our phone call and I just missed it. We were so focused on the cool thing that so let's talk about True Fans. I know people have heard of probably Patreon. But so explain, let's say I've never heard of Patreon. Explain what that is and the whole thing, and then what your app does that's better.
Right. So we are a social media platform that helps content creators or people with a community get paid to post online. We are very similar to a Patreon. We're very similar to, even like an OnlyFans. The biggest caveat, the difference between us and them, is the fact that we are 100% invite only. We pay more, we pay faster. We just launched instant global payments. So whenever you have income that you've earned through your audiences in the various ways I'll get into, you can send out a direct deposit to your account within seconds, which is really cool. Advantageous. We have additional features and functions that nobody else has. We set out to be the logical choice, and that's what we're aiming to do for our market. And then the biggest thing is we don't allow adult content. So we are the wholesome alternative to these platforms that are catering to that scene. We decided to stamp our flag and be the alternative home for folks that would love to monetize, that have a brand, but don't necessarily want to be associated to that industry. So here we are, and it's done fantastically well. Over the last 2.5 years, I think we launched beta 2.5 years ago. And we're pumped about where we're going, man. But to try to better explain it for somebody, it's like if you are let's say a podcaster, right? Like you, Ryan, 5 minutes or 10 minutes before we started this podcast would be a great piece of content that you could add to your True Fans channel.
Yep.
And then what that would do inside the True Fans channel is it's actually gate kept by a subscription price. People that are external of your channel membership site would have to pay in order to gain access to see the content that you post internal of your channel. So it's a membership management site / social media / where you can really connect with your audience that's supporting the thing that you are, or the thing that you do.
Yeah. So a lot of podcasters, like I have back end courses and membership groups, but like somebody who's maybe a celebrity doesn't want to teach how to become a celebrity. They don't really have anything to teach necessarily. People are just flocking to them because they're, I don't know, Kim Kardashian, for example. She may have a channel where there's extra access, correct? Like, gives or a podcaster could have, a lot of podcasters don't even have the courses. So this is just a way for them to monetize their content to where they're like you said, true fans can support them and get extra access to them. Like maybe you and I hang out afterwards and I share, I do behind the scenes, chat with Tim, and my only true fans people are the only ones get to see that.
Exactly. You could have 5 questions that you ask before the podcast starts, and you let people know, hey, I've just been on a call with Tim for the last 15 minutes. He helped answer this. If you want to get access to that, support me inside my True Fans channel. This is where you get all the behind the scenes. It just becomes like your pitch, right? Invite people. This is where you can get this. And then at the end, you could close the podcast and say, hey, it's been awesome. All the people that are inside my True Fans channel supporting this show, supporting what I do, we're going to go and thank you everybody for listening. See you on the next one. And now it's like, okay, now it's like, oh man, I want to be inside of Ryan's inner circle. I need to hear these answers. Or it could be merch, right? So you have, let's say, special t-shirts or giveaways or various things that you do only internal to your community. Or, you and I talked extensively about philanthropic companies, right? So it's a way for those folks to do donations, giveaways, pledges, and really kind of change the way that they're collecting income. And then showcasing the results of that income generated internal of their media for their people. So it's just a whole different paradigm. And the beauty is there's no, we're not selling anybody's data. We're not running any ads. There's no limitations on reach, or that there's no algorithm that's diminishing that reach. In fact, it's the polar opposite. Whether you have 10 or 10 million people, like we are in a position where we want you to be seen and heard by all your folks. And we send out push notifications and emails. Everything's on by default. So we are pushing your voice, your content out to all your people.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, you want to talk about the missionary idea real quick? Yeah, because there might be people listening that I don't even know have a connection or will have an idea that will then email me and say, hey, let's, I want to connect with Tim. So tell me about your, so you came to me through Ryan Horn, who was a guest on my podcast.
Awesome, dude.
And you and Ryan were talking about True Fans, and the missionary thing came up, and that's when he thought of me, because he knows I'm missionary minded too. So you and I had a conversation, and talked about this. So why don't you just share your idea with that? And then for somebody listening, if this strikes a chord in you and you know a missionary it doesn't have to be a missionary, but a pastor or, any person in ministry you feel like this would be a fit for, just email me, Ryan@ryanrieger.com, and I'll connect you with Tim, and we'll see if there's, a way to make something happen. But tell me about your idea and your heart for that.
Yeah, man. So I heard this a while back, and I like the phrase. There's a guy named Cole Hatter who's a pretty successful internet marketer, a builder, entrepreneur, and he talks about he talked one time about turning his business from profit to purpose, and creating this hybrid. And that stood out to me. I was like, man, that seems fulfilling. That seems really cool. Like, this is the next iteration. So we built all this technology. We have this awesome platform. It's battle tested. That's exciting. That's cool. That works for different creators. We work with musicians, we work with chefs, we work with podcasters, all sorts of different people. That's cool. But the idea is to take this technology and apply it to, you and I specifically talked about a missionary company that could customize it to their needs. They put their logo on it, their domain, their color scheme. We discussed the different features and functionality that would make it super cool for them, specifically for their audiences and whom, exactly what they need, custom fit it.
Yeah.
And then they would use it to change the way that income is generated globally to their people, and then change the way that story, that message, that information, that media is cast out to the supporters of that individual. And I think it'll change the way it will create more revenue, and prosperity to those people that are in the fields and the mission. And I believe it will change the way that the stories are cast and communicated out to the world. And I want nothing more than to be a part of a project that does that.
Yes.
It's my responsibility. So if somebody's listening and they want a demo or they want to connect, definitely please get with Ryan.
Or actually, if you want to you feel free to, you can, me's fine, but if you have an email or a website you want people to go to, you feel free to share that.
Well, so Ryan is going to have access to the platform. We are 100% invite only. So you either have to know somebody or apply to gain access. So I'll just send them to you, Ryan. And then if somebody, you know what I mean? If we could tee up a conversation, or if somebody wants to take a deeper dive into how this could work and what's feasible, my team and I are committed to, we love working with philanthropic companies, and we'll do everything in our power, to keep costs extremely low and reasonable, to see something really cool get constructed.
And you're talking about the white label version, where somebody like a large missionary organization could have their own version of the platform. But then somebody who's listening to this might want to just get on your regular platform as is. It costs nothing, right, to jump on it. You just, your fee comes out. If I make a payment to them, you take a percentage of that payment from the fans.
Correct. So if somebody's interested, they don't want a full on custom build, they're not looking for, to change all the different nuances and such. They don't have a large organization per se. They just want to use it. They can go through you and basically email you, or they're going to have all your contact information, I'm sure, through the show. And then if they're a good fit, all you have to do is just put their name, email, and or phone number in the invite section, press invite. And then there'll be some prosperity exchange there where you'll gain we actually pay 5% on all gross volume generated. So in the event somebody comes in through you, who's an authorized gatekeeper, if you will, I know that you know who we are as a brand, and if I can help your show and help more cool dudes get on here, that's what I want to do. So it's just it's a good collaborative win-win-win, I think. But it's free. We take 20% as a platform fee in lieu of customer support, tech support, infrastructure support. I have 46 developers on the team. Wow. So some of that goes into salaries, and then our profit on that. I have a family. I have 2 kids that are hungry.
What? You make a profit on this?
Yeah, right. No, I am I love uninterrupted capitalism and freedom. So
that's right. Amen. So let's go real quick on one of the ideas that we had. I think we talked about this certain missionary that is also loves history, and he's in Israel. And so just a potential use case. So obviously he's taking regular donations, and he probably wouldn't say completely take all of his donors and say now go through here, but
Sure.
he could add on a whole other stream of revenue because he's working to be a tour guide there in Israel and learn. So he wants to. So real quick, the idea could be like he could go to the Garden Tomb or to Golgotha and be live streaming, or or maybe if he couldn't live stream there, he'd do a video and go, bring the scriptures to life. And that to me would be super fascinating because I'm just interested in that. But other people would be too. And so that could be behind a paywall that I get him. Pay him every month to be a part of it. Or maybe it's like you said, some of it is pay-per-view style, but yeah, just something like that. So a missionary could just do behind the scenes stuff, or if they're, if they know the history of the area where they are, they could go deep in that type of thing. It's really kind of limitless.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. So if he's a history guy, he obviously has a ton of knowledge and a ton of information, and being where he's at geographically, like being able to show folks that through a live experience or video where he's discussing things in real time or breaking things down, and just being a contributor, being someone that's on the inner circle of that mission. Like, not only are you supporting his cause and what he's doing and the distribution of information, but also you're on the inside, so you're going to get to see things that aren't posted on his traditional Instagram or aren't posted on that person's Facebook or YouTube. You're an inner circle person, and you can feel cool about that, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Supporting somebody like that, and it's interesting. There's so many different ways. Even on the live experience, it's kind of like Twitch, where people can donate, tip, gift, pledge during the actual live experience. So let's say he's in there talking about a relic or some sort of cool experience. There could be people that are just like, oh, thank you so much. Like, dude, I definitely got to give this guy thanks for breaking this down. Right. It's just a way to buy somebody a coffee, or it's a way to,
that's so cool.
Be in support of. So
I love it. And then we also had the idea, like, if somebody's trying hard to wrap their brain around, like, how would I as a missionary use this? It could simply be a place where you just have your inner circle where you're posting updates only for them. And maybe you invite them to, once a month Zoom calls with you as the missionary, and they get that access to you, and almost like they become like your board of directors, where they're learning about what's going on, beyond just that newsletter you get in the mail from somebody you support. It's like a deep dive into what they're doing there, and you just feel more connected to them. So
yeah, see, and I'm used to that. We have refrigerator pictures that we get like every so often of the folks that are down there, and that's cool. And it's cool for a couple seconds. You're looking at it, or you're reading it, and then it goes up there, and it's like on the fridge. But the change, and then the other thing is with that too, they're collecting payments, a lot of them through the mail or through outdated systems that just don't have the same technology like ours. Right. I could geek out and go into the complexities, but in short, it maximizes the potential of collecting the donation way more efficiently than most other processing systems at a global scale. That's the simple way, without me like really nerding out on all the dunning systems and the AI and all that. But it's a really convenient way for both the purchaser and the business owner, missionary, nonprofit to collect income, avoid the annoyances.
So for example, like if I'm in an area where PayPal is a problem, like I could, and I wanted to support you as a missionary. Let's say I live in Zimbabwe. Maybe like there's only a couple options. Like your platform makes it easy for me as a supporter. In a country that's really, really, really cool.
Exceptionally,
I'm talking right now to
133 different currencies are being processed. Can be processed. Apple Pay, Google Pay.
Wow.
Crypto soon. Our merchant is working on crypto technology. So cool. I know it's a little over a lot of people's.
No, that's really important to know though, because like I have a friend in India who I need to get a payment to, and he said PayPal is a big problem for him there. Like he said for the
they take big fees.
Yeah, and so that's really cool to know.
Yeah, and there's another plan. I'll just shout this out. Hopefully, it's of service to someone. What I use to pay overseas developers, or what I use to pay some of my virtual assistants or different partners across the world, is a platform called Wise.com. It's a really cool platform to do payroll and such. So hopefully that's a value. Free stuff, giving it away, nothing to sell.
Yes,
take it.
That's good. I love it. Cool. Well, okay. I love this. We need to chat more because I feel like we could go deep in so many different things. But just how about you just encourage the person that's listening? Like, there's somebody that's struggling right now that is in their car in the commute to a job that they hate and they want more.
Yeah.
And they like, man, this sounds like a dream. This dude's only 33 and I'm 50, and I feel like I'm a failure in life and I hate my job, and I just feel stuck and I'm depressed.
I get it, dude. And the weight of the world is on you. And especially if you feel like you're letting your family down, or you feel like you're letting your wife down, or you're just, I've been there, dude. And I want you to know, first off, I love you. You're a part of the Creator.
Yes.
You have purpose. You matter. And a lot of guys, they don't even feel comfortable saying, I love you. I love you,
Right.
dude. And I just can't. I really do.
Yeah.
And so know that if this guy on the digital sound waves right now, or if you're watching this, like, I really do care. I want to see you win. And so does the Creator, and the only thing that's holding you back is the fear, the apprehension of who you think you are.
Yeah. And
that needs to be rewired. It needs to be rethought. And I think the best way is to center yourself in gratitude and look around and realize that you're an abundant creator, even yourself. So, my encouragement is with you, and my best wishes are with you. And I make today great. When you go into work, make today the best day ever. That's what I want to say.
So good, man. Wow. Well, you are welcome back anytime. Anytime you want to chat. I feel like we could hang out and chat about all kinds of stuff besides the ugly yellow carpet at Kokomo Christian School. I feel like there's a deep well in you that we could just bring out, and it would be full of just nuggets of gold for people that need to hear it. So appreciate you, brother. On.
It's good encouragement. Make me feel make me feel good. I appreciate that. It's an honor to be on here, and I'm excited to be friends with you too. Even if nothing happens, like, to be connected with a fellow yellow carpet guy.
Very few people have that in common.
Right.
Well, God bless you, Tim. Thanks for what you do, and we'll stay in touch and change the world together, man.
Appreciate you, Ryan.
All right.
You've been listening to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. From right here in the Dallas Metroplex, Ryan teaches several entrepreneurial courses and group coaching programs to students all over the world. Be sure to listen next week at the same time for Streams of Income with Ryan Rieger.